It is first a Greek epic poem, written by Homer, not Simpson, about the long journey of a man. It is also defined as a voyage or a long wandering. Now, we, in the more populated areas of the Philippines, know a little something about long wanderings, don't we? Banilagman or EDSA, our traffic sucks. But if you must, and if you have the means, then the 2018 Honda Odyssey should be on your short list. Now, this minivan has transcended from what was once just soccer mom's car to now, hey, nice wheels. Now, the exterior is based on Honda's solid streamline, which gives it a sedan-like stance and 150 millimeters of ground clearance, which makes it easier to enter and exit the vehicle, especially for smaller children and senior citizens alike. Except maybe for when you're going over speed bumps in BGC, those really tall ones, that's like, bug. Oy. A large dark chrome grille is found up front, followed by several slats for air intake all the way down to the chin. The front camera, located here, works in connection with all the other cameras around the car to provide the driver a 360-degree view when parking or when it's activated for their advantage. Now, the DRLs, the headlamps, and the fog lamps are an all LED affair. So is too the extra lamp found on either side, which activates anytime the driver turns the steering wheel or puts the indicators on, giving them a better advantage of the road. It's the small things. Power sliding doors can be found on either side and controlled via the fob. Now, Vincent over here has marveled about the indentations found on the door, and I tend to agree. I'm sure they're not there for aerodynamics, nothing as cool as the wingtips on the Honda Jet, but you gotta admit, they look great and they do add character. So do the 17-inch tires. Now at the back, you've got a very wide taillight configuration for maximum visibility, separated by, well, even more chrome. Come to think of it, there's so much chrome on this thing. You've got it on the front grille, the front chin, the side skirts, underneath the windows, the rear chin, now back here. Are there some on the roof? No, none naman. But there's so much chrome on this guy that'll probably make little John jealous. Yeah! On a side note, that's the 8th take already because Vincent wouldn't stop laughing. Sadly, no power tailgate. There's already 2 power doors up front, one more really wouldn't have hurt, so that's a bit of a bummer. So too is the 351 liters of space. Now, there's a lower bottom that can be found here, but the configuration is a little bit weird. However, chucking a McLaren stroller in there, not a problem at all. A Caco stroller, because of its bulkiness, that might be a problem depending on the lean of the third row. But it is a 7-seater after all. That's not a second thought. It's a proper 7-seater. And if you need more space, well, check this out. And Bob's your uncle. Now, I'm not even sure how to calculate how much space there is back there, but I'm pretty sure that you could fit a fridge full of beer back there with an Oompa Loompa. See what I mean? The first thing that greets you when you get into the Odyssey is a very comfortable seat and instruments that rather mimic the past Civics and CR-Vs, which is very familiar. Right down to the Krispy Kreme speedometer, to the 7-inch infotainment system, to the sunroof, and also the touch-sensitive air controls. There's also the gear lever, no buttons on this one like the current CR-V, which is, well, maybe on the next update. Visibility in the Odyssey is absolutely great, thanks largely to its massive windshield and huge windows. Also, the quarter windows up front are pretty big as well. Adding to that is that the side mirrors are not mounted to the pillars, but rather to the side of the car, increasing driver visibility. There's so much light that comes in here, you could probably turn this place into a tanning salon. And other people don't like it, I don't mind it, but this center armrest, well, it's big enough to play beer pong on. In and out of the city, the electronic power steering is a joy to operate. It's light and nimble, and it really doesn't feel like you're driving a van that's 4.8 meters long and 1.8 meters wide. In fact, the paddle shifters on this thing might make you think that this thing's track ready. Although I would advise against that. Just because diving fins are made out of Kevlar doesn't mean they're going to use it to stop a bullet. Anyway, it really does feel like a sedan, even though you're carrying 1,851 kilograms. Now that weight is great for stability, but yep, you guessed it, it doesn't bode very well for fuel economy. Even with its Earth Dreams technology, this 2.4 7-speed CVT gets 5.2 kilometers per liter in the city, and I'm talking about heavy traffic with the eco mode on and the start-stop function off. Sorry, just not a fan of that guy. On the highway, we were able to get 10.9 kilometers per liter. Now this engine probably performs better in the Accord because that thing carries 309 kilos less. That's 6 sacks of bigas, or the combined weight of the Big Show and the Undertaker. Whichever picture works for you. However, that being said, the Accord doesn't have captain's chairs. Aha! Welcome to Honda's modern suite room. Some of the toys you'll find in here include a 9-inch display for your HDMI and DVD inputs. You got your air controls located in the center. On either side, 2 air vents per captain's chairs. You've got your privacy screen, like so. You've got 2 bottle holders per chair, one on the door and one right next to you. And most importantly, the seats decked out in leather. And man, are they supple. And of course, why not? When you're in the mood, pop open the ottoman. Oh, very nice. Now at the moment, we're driving around with the 3rd row seat up. Now if you were to fold that guy down and position your captain chair all the way to the back, you could have as much as 3 feet of room in front of you. That's wider than the ledge of Euphoria. Huy, lumalabas yung edad. Easily accessed because of the space found in between the 2 chairs of the 2nd row, leather continues all the way to the very roomy 3rd row, as well as the side curtain airbags and air vents. You'll also find a 12-volt power outlet and an HDMI port back here, which I found a little bit odd. See, there is no HDMI port for the 2nd row, and you'd think they'd give that importance because, after all, it is the captain's chairs. Again, it's just the small things. Capable of moving 7 people in and out of the city or serve as an executive's very large runabout, the Honda Odyssey EX-Navi comes in at 2,433,000 Philippine pesos. Now others out there might choose the EX because it is after all 354,000 pesos cheaper and it seats 8. However, you're already there. You're talking about a car that already costs 2 million pesos, and the difference is leather seats, captain's chairs, power doors. It may not be the difference between economy and first class, but it's definitely business class. And that is no small thing.